And it is that time of year. Outside of Christmas, this is Knicks season. What's going on, fellas? Isn't it great to have the Knicks back? I mean, number one has got to be the holiday season. You know, you love to see the family, all the gifts you give to other people, the God and Jesus being in your life, and having the Knicks play basketball. What's better than that? Watched that Knicks game last night. What did you guys think? I liked it. Thought it was good. You know, got to take it with a grain of salt. Our New York Knickerbockers were playing the Detroit Pistons, arguably the worst team in the league. I mean, I don't think they're that bad of a team. I mean, people are saying they're complete, dog doo-doo. But Blake Griffin, D Rose, Killian Hayes, and Jeremy Grant. I'm pretty sure it's Jeremy Grant. Pretty solid team. I don't think they're that bad. It's a solid team. But getting on to the Knicks. We're gonna start with the bad here, and let's start with the Orange Julius Randle, a player that I really do not hate that much. But he is not good for this young Knicks team. Orange Julius, loves getting that ball in the post and doing his spin moves. I like Orange Julius, but taking the touches from our young guys is not good for the young guy development. I think Julius is a good player, and I really do like him. I think we saw it at the end of the game with that shot, his end one shot from the elbow. He's a good player, but he's taking minutes away from other guys. But he played well. Got to give him that. But I'm putting a bad on his name because he's taking the ball away and minutes away from other guys. Next, we got Elfrid. I do not like Elfrid Payton. There are many other guards I would rather see play, like Frank Ntilikina and Emmanuel Quickley, who was a DNP last night. I am a Frank stan, and an Emmanuel Quickley stan. So I do not want to see Elfrid Payton taking a single minute away from these guys. I do not like Elfrid Payton. Don't think he's a bad guy. Actually, I don't know him, so I can't say he's a good or bad guy. Let's just assume he's a good guy. I don't care, because you're taking minutes away from my boys, and these boys need to develop. I saw a great picture the other day of Frank Ntilikina and all the players he has played, and all the guards the New York Knicks have felt that they should play in front of him. And it's mind-boggling, honestly, why he needs to take a back role to so many of these guards. This is a picture right here, and the Knicks have prioritized Ramon Sessions, who's not in the NBA, Jarrett Jack, who's not in the NBA, Emmanuel Mudiay, who's not on a team and a free agent, Elfrid Payton, who cannot shoot, and DSJ, who all he can do is jump really high and dunk it pretty solidly. But is that worth playing over our French Prince, who was our lottery pick only 3 years ago? Frank, I'm relatively young. I'm about to graduate college. Frank is only 6 months older than me. He's a young kid. He's got to develop. Playing him 15 minutes a night is doing nothing for him, and playing him at the two. I mean, you love to see that defensiveness, but I want to see more passing out of Frank. Playing him at the two all night, Tibbs. I mean, come on. Why are you playing DSJ at the one when Frank's a better distributor? I'll get into more on DSJ, but boy, was he pissing me off last night, DSJ. And I love Tibbs. This isn't going to be a Tibbs rant, but Tibbs made some questionable decisions. On to DSJ. How many times did he try and force the ball last night? I mean, you have a one as your position. You're a point guard. Does that mean you have to try and throw 30 alley-oops to Mitchell Robinson when the Pistons D is collapsing and obviously knows it's going to come? Do you have to try all these stupid bounce passes in the lane when they're just going to get picked off. Like, stop forcing so much, DSJ. I know you want to pat your assists and look better for Tibbs, but come on, man. But the whole point of a point guard is to make sure you don't turn over the ball. The ball is the most important thing as a point guard. You cannot be turning that over. It's ridiculous to see him playing like that. Just be a little smarter with the ball out there. Yeah, so DSJ and Elfrid Payton both get beds next to their names too. And I'm not a DSJ stan, just mostly because I stan Frank Ntilikina. Next, one of my favorite players on your New York Knickerbockers is Mitchell Robinson. I have a bed next to his name too, just because I didn't like what I saw out of Mitch. Yeah, so Mitch did not start last night. I know he only started like 6 games last year. That's because we had a Thibodeau who's an incompetent coach, and Miller who I liked, but it's probably coming from higher up not to start Mitch, and they liked him as a 6-man or whatever. So Mitch, not starting last night. Apparently, him and Tibbs have not been of the best friends. Apparently, Mitch came into camp a little out of shape, and he looked it. And that's Tibbs does not care about your feelings or anything that doesn't translate to winning basketball. If you're gonna he doesn't care about Tibbs cares about development, but if you're not gonna contribute to a winning team, if you're not gonna make the team better on the court, you're not playing with Tibbs. And they were ripping Mitch last night. The commentators. From what it sounds like, is Mitch came in really out of shape, and he feels like he's like owed something. Like he's like I don't know. I guess this top 100 got to his head or something. But he apparently thinks he's like the best center in the league just because you had a really good field goal percentage from catching all those oops and everything. I like Mitch, but I don't know what this guy thinks he deserves because. Last night he did not show it. You want to, if you come out, if you think you're owed all this stuff and you think you should get a step up, prove it. Prove Tibbs wrong because he's probably challenging you, Tibbs. Tibbs probably likes you as you're a defensive guy and an efficient player. Tibbs is gonna like you, but he's probably challenging you. Just to make you stronger, and you're gonna come out and put out a bum ass performance like you did last night. What do you have? 2 points, 7 rebounds. Yeah, he's Mitch. He's 7'1" with a 90-inch vertical. But you're gonna put out 2 points. He looked bad. Holy, did he look bad? He didn't look terrible on the defensive side. He had a couple blocks and a couple interceptions in the lane. But he looked like Bambi out there. When Bambi first started to walk, he looked out of shape, boy. Like, it was something else. I love Mitch and all, but it's crazy. You can't play like that, So he gets a bad next to his name. Moving on, RJ. Yeah, RJ was something that first quarter. Jeez, man. Whew. RJ, he was chucking them up, and they were not going in. I think he was 0 for 6 to start the game. He just did not look good, but that's what you're going to get with RJ. Is he the most efficient player? No, and I don't think he'll ever be that efficient player. But, was Kobe Bryant that efficient player? Kobe Bryant, everyone loved Kobe. He wasn't the most efficient player, but he got it done. Could RJ be that? RJ's a bucket getter. And it might not be efficient, but he's going to get the ball in the hoop sometime. And you saw that. He came out after that 0 for 6 or whatever it was, and then he went like 5 for 6 after that. So, he's inconsistent, but, it is what it is. So he gets a half and half. Bad, good. You got to take the good with the ugly. He's probably the best player outside of Randall on this team. Now we start with the good. Tibbs. Tibbs is... I love Tibbs. I was a huge Tibbs guy back in the 2011, 2012. Tibbs, he gets a lot of bad media narrative. And it's a stupid media narrative about how he runs his players into the ground. It doesn't make sense. Just because D. Rose got hurt. he really didn't run anyone into the ground. Deng had a solid career, but Deng had a decent career outside of Chicago, and people try and point that out, that he fell off right after. No, he was a system player. He was a catch and shoot corner three guy who could play really good defense. Boozer was like 33 years old after the Chicago, and Joakim Noah was also a system player. I don't know what you're expecting. He does not run guys into the ground. He really knows how to manage and coach well. That's why you see some of the players may not look so good afterwards. He just brings a winning mentality and a very good defensive mentality. It reminds me of very 90s basketball, and these young kids got to learn, and it's going to be really good for the best player in the game last night, Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin is going to get grinded out on defense, and he's going to have to try and be a little better. Oh, he did very well on offense, but some of those swing passes that he was trying last night, he tried like at least 3 that I saw, and they all got tipped. I'm sure Tibbs kind of gave him a little love tap after that for ever trying that, and saying never try that again. But I think Tibbs is going to be better on Obi on defense. Obi looked he looked all right on defense. I was very impressed with his offensive capability. I mean, he looks like Amari Stoudemire out of there, and that's coming from a big Amari Stoudemire fan. Like, he looked like Amari at 22 years old. I mean, he's going to be a good player. I think if I have to see more, but I'd be willing to bet that he's probably the best player on the Knicks right now, and Randall's probably close. But that's impressive for never playing an NBA game. You know, he looks really freaking good. Going on to the other good. Outside of Obi and Tibbs, both have good next to their name. Frank. I thought Frank played really well last night. I am a Frank stan. I do have a bias towards Frank. But he was very good defensively last night. And we saw an aggressiveness with him that you haven't seen in past couple years. And why Frank isn't as aggressive, it boggles my mind, because he's got a great looking jump shot, and his mid range is pretty solid when he tries, and he can get to the basket. Like, it's sad, because I don't know what's with his confidence, but somebody needs to whip him into shape, because he's a good player, and a lot of people like him. I think he's just a little afraid. And I don't know. I just couldn't tell you. I mean, I'm not inside his head, but I like Frank, and we're seeing that aggressiveness, and it pays off. He looks good, and it comes from that aggressiveness. He was passing the ball well. He was creating space for other players. I was very happy with Frank. So Frank's got a good next to his name. And Stonk's going up with Kevin Knox. All we were hearing was about Kevin Knox and how, he was coming into camp the most in shape out of everyone. He was having really good practices. I took that with a grain of salt. I like Knox. He's not one of my favorite players coming out of the draft, but I support all my Knicks players unless they're taking minutes away from my favorite players. But Knox I do like. He's got an NBA body. His body is like a Kevin Durant, that skinny Slenderman kind of thing that can work as a shooter. He's not efficient at all, but efficiency can come with age. We saw he'd only played like what? He put up 5 points last season, but he put up like 12 the season before. But that comes with minutes and having stupid Fizdale. And I do like Mike Miller, but he did not know how to utilize a bunch of players on this team, and that's why he is gone now. And Tibbs is back. And you're seeing that aggressiveness with Knox again, that you didn't see last year. And, you just love to see some aggressiveness with some of these players and a little dog in their stomach, like as if, you're fighting for your minutes, that, actually playing well will mean something, unlike it did with Fizdale. Fizdale, you could have a great game, and you didn't know if you were going to get a DNP or 2 minutes played the next game. And with Tibbs, if you play well and you play good defense, and he likes what he's seeing, he doesn't care about the last guy. He'll play over him if he thinks you're going to contribute to winning basketball. And I think you're seeing that with Frank and Knox. You're seeing that dog and the fire in their stomach, and that they're willing to fight for their minutes and to keep their NBA career alive. And, you love to see Knox getting back on track. The Knicks are looking good. I'm very happy. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself and say the Knicks are an 8 seed like I say every year, but I mean, they could be something, especially with Tibbs. Tibbs might be able to get him to an 8 seed, and it's not, I'm not. It's stupid to say because it sounds like I'm making it sound like they're gonna win the championship. Like I'm making the 8 seed sound like it's winning a championship, but it's impressive for the Knicks. Knicks get crapped on all the time, but how much have the Kings done or the Bulls done since ever? Like the Bulls outside of the 90s, but the Bulls have had as much playoff success as the Knicks have had in the past 20 years. Kings have never done nothing, so don't get on me, other NBA fans. Like, get the hell out of here. Go crap on those franchises before you do on the Knicks. Knicks are inside your head. But yeah, Bad, Julius, Alfred, DSJ, RJ, and Mitch. Well, RJ gets a half and half. Good, Tibbs, Standing Frank, Knox, and Obi.